Yesterday, Ramses said that in the beginning all Chicano artists were organizers, and I think that that's pretty much a very correct assessment of what a lot of us were involved with and continue to be involved in, as Chicano artists. Then from organizing either in the barrios or with the farm workers or wherever we happen to be doing this activity, the whole advent of or the focus on education became very important to the movement, and then we began to organize students into the universities, and for all the bad-mouthing that we do about institutions, and they have it coming to them, we were very responsible in creating that vacuum in the barrio by pulling all of our people out into the universities. Out of those institutions, very few disciplines sent back the products after they completed their education. Out of the institutions that returned to the barrio, only in a general sense, but it holds true for most barrios. The only people that returned to use their talents were the artists who were coming back from the universities or who used the universities and worked in the barrios. But art in the barrio has continued, whereas the very few of the doctors and the lawyers and the other people came back. They went on, and they give you all kinds of excuses. They got to pay the law library and the loans and everything else. The other institution that sends its people back to the barrio are the prisons. So we have the artists and the pintos, the only role models back in the barrio. And we're lucky that a lot of the pintos that come back are doing some positive things. Not all of them are training the boys to become, or the youth to become, gangsters. And in other words, they're doing more discouraging about going into the joint than teaching them how to get in. In some cases, that goes on also. So the idea of how do you continue the art programs in the barrio? One of the things that we started very early on is to make sure that the resources that had become available to us as artists were then used in the community. One of the first things that Esteban and I, and at that time Ed Carrillo was with us, we insisted, and it wasn't that difficult, we insisted that art classes be taught in the barrio. And in our case, the art department was very happy, they get them out of our hair, send them back to the barrio, which worked out very nicely for us. Esteban and Eduardo started the mural activity in the barrio using barrio funds. We also started the poster making activities and the silk screening classes taught in the barrio. And then my art classes with the niños and the ancianos and the youth were also started in the barrio. At some point when education began to say, look, education is about something very different than what you guys are doing out there. Let's bring these classes back to the university, and you're going to be held accountable for teaching now what they used to call meat and potato classes. And for us at Sacramento, we were very, very fortunate that an accreditation team came from back east, did an accreditation of the barrio, of the department to see if it could continue issuing the degree. And they gave a lot of pluses to our barrio involvement. These people had to come from outside of California to see that there was something very viable about what we were doing in the barrio. And the pluses that they got for the department to get its 5-year accreditation helped us then to become more legitimized. And then we began to have to fight for tenure and for promotions and all of those things that go on. So we have been very successful at using the facilities from the university still out there in the barrio. It takes the edge off, that whole idea that you're working for the system, that you're working for the state, that you're doing all this. Si le estás jambando y le estás quitando acá por el ladito, you don't feel so bad.